Hey everyone, this is the market update for February 19th, and going to start off today by going over ES like always. So just kind of quickly recapping what happened today. So this is where we closed yesterday. We're above this intraday blue line right at the close with that huge line, huge bar that came out right at the close. Which made me a little bit bullish, but those fast moves, especially when I keep mentioning this, this week being a bit of a weird week with it being the VIX expiration, which happened today, and the monthly options expiration, which is this Friday. So these weeks are always a little tricky and untrustworthy and full of traps. So I'm always just wary of, stuff that looks too good or too bad. So for example, seeing this big bar, I was like, okay, that's nice and all, but still not seeing the movement in some of the names that I would expect to move and kind of lead the way, like the Mag 7, Magnificent 7 names, like the NVDAs and all that. NVIDIA's done better, but it's still not showing like impressive strength like I think it might in the lead up to its earnings next week. But anyways, we kind of continued to grind up. This is overnight, and then we dropped. This is around 4 in the morning. Eastern time, and then broke below this 200-day moving average on the 15-minute chart. So again, now I was like, okay, this is bearish mode. So until we kind of intraday get back above it, I'll feel a little bit nervous. But what I saw was, hey, we dipped to this level, which kind of matches, around where we kind of chopped around yesterday, as well as, over the weekend with the futures. Kind of held this level, so that was one of the levels I was watching, and then we dipped below here, which was another one of the support levels that we saw support in yesterday. Totally could have tested back here as well and gotten all the way here on this kind of trend line that I drew from this point to this point, which is basically the low from Friday to the low on Tuesday, and then the high on Friday to the high on Tuesday. And so I wasn't sure which direction it would go, but when I saw this happen, I saw, okay, here's a little shoulder, here's a little head. What I was guessing would happen was we would maybe push up, get rejected at this, intraday bull bear trend line, pull back a little bit, and then maybe rise up again. That is what we did. You can't really see it too well here. Let me zoom out. Let me zoom in, sorry, a little bit. But as you can see, kind of, tried to make a push there, fell back a little bit, and then formed a small shoulder there and kind of pushed up and kept going. So, we got to this top of this trend line. It's crazy how those things work. That also maps pretty closely to the sweet spot top, which I'll show on the other chart. So right now, I'm a little bit more wary about the market just because we hit this top of the sweet spot, and then there was some news that came out about, the Trump pushing to cut Pentagon spending. That hit a bunch of stocks that were super hot, like Palantir and a few others. Even NVDA got knocked on that. So kind of, it's just funny how that happens. That tweet came out like right around here and then knocked it down. Sometimes people believe in coincidence. I don't know. No, it seems a little fishy. But anyways, we're kind of dripping a bit lower. The earnings tonight were not too hot, at least in terms of the response from the stock. So I'll go over that as well. But with this week again being a pretty unpredictable, choppy week, I wouldn't be surprised to see us, come all the way down here even tomorrow. So I did put on some small put protection expiring tomorrow just as a hedge. We could totally just grind in this zone for a while and be fine. Even if we went here, I'd still feel it would not be great, but it could happen, and I would still feel okay about it as long as it bounces strongly off that level, or maybe it falls below it and then cracks back up. So, zooming back out a bit, this level, by the time we get to that point, it's right around, this is the whole DeepSeek gap down that we had. We could totally test that again, and at the worst case, I'd like to see it hold this, let's say 6100 level on ES, and that also maps to the 20 SMA, I believe. So so let's keep an eye on things. Again, I would recommend adding this 15-minute the 200 SMA on the 15-minute chart to your charts, and kind of works for a lot of different names. I've just been staring at it more and more often, and then pretty impressed by how well it works. Now let me go to the daily chart of ES real quick. Let me zoom in there. Cool. So if we look at, sorry, I have SPY up. Let me pull up futures. Okay, so we did, test these highs from back in December, that kind of range. We didn't get all the way up there. The high of that day was 61.84. We got to, was a 61.66, and so we got above the high from January 24th, which is great. But what I'm a bit fearful of is a potential double top here, or maybe you can even call it a triple top, which means like you try to break through, failed, try to hit, breakthrough, failed, try to hit, and for now we kind of hit our head there again. It also lines up with the top of the sweet spot right here, this maroon line. So again, as long as we're trending in this sweet spot, I'm feeling okay. So I would like us to see, today we dropped and broke below the bottom of the sweet spot, and then tested the 8-day a little bit, but held, which is good. And then tomorrow we could do the same thing and keep repeating this pattern for a while. So this bottom, the 8-day maps to 61.28, 61.27, and this is let's call it 6100 is a 20 SMA. So very possible that we see this even tomorrow. Some people may, hopefully my puts pay, but I'm very happy with those going to zero if everything else kind of continues to rip higher. But these pullbacks are healthy for the market. You don't want it to keep going up, because the faster it goes up, there's a lot of times they call it, taking the stairs up and the elevator down. So it's kind of good to have these healthy pullbacks here and there. But I do get that it gets a little, frustrating if you're trying to trade around the stock. So yeah, that's, again, just watch these levels and make sure that they hold. And at the worst case, maybe we come down here to the 50-day, but I'd be a lot more cautious then. If we pull back to here on the 20-day, back to 6100, again, would be a rough day, but I feel pretty good about us potentially bouncing off of that, especially with NVDA earnings and some other big names next week. Hopefully earnings start to get rewarded. It's been a pretty ugly earnings season thus far for most of the more popular names. So cool. That's the quick ES update. I'm going to go over a few charts. One thing that I did mention though was that the Trump admin put a tweet out at 12:15 p.m. or not, they didn't put a tweet out, but some news came out around like 12:15 around how the Trump administration is ordering the Pentagon to plan for 8% budget cuts. This is like a Washington Post article. And if we let's look at the 15-minute chart, and I think that was around 12. Yeah, it's right here. So right around what is that, 3 o'clock Eastern, which is, sorry, I'm on the West Coast, but we got that news and we dropped. So the market, it's just funny how those things work. They got to us a very, important area, which is the top of the sweep spot, and got knocked down. So yeah, usually that's why I don't pay attention to the news as closely as maybe some people do, or read all these like fear articles or, bullish articles. I'm more just like watch the price action and trust that, my levels and my technical analysis will tell me the story. Okay, cool. Now moving on, just wanted to talk about a few different interesting charts and then go over quickly some of the earnings. So let's look at the solar sector. So solar sector has been beaten down really bad. And then SolarEdge had earnings, I believe it was this morning, and it popped quite a bit. So let's see, it was like around, it was a 16 yesterday, and it popped almost to the 200-day right here at 24. So it got as high as 23.77, hit his head and went all the way back down to 1963, where it is now. So that gave the solar names across the board a bit of a kick, because as you can see, this has just been beaten down for quite a while. Let's see how long this goes. Actually, let's a better chart. Let's go to the monthly chart. Wow. Yeah. So I remember playing this stock in, to 2020, 2021, and, riding it. Even here, I was playing it, off the 8 EMA. Let's see if it bounces, things like that. And then you can see, was that back in 2023, just absolutely destroyed from, 300s to, as low as to $10, $11. So again, not out of the woods yet by any means on this name, but it's a good sign. If you look at some of the other solar names, First Solar has been in this, wedge right here, which could pop out of it and maybe goes all the way down to this 50 SMA on the monthly chart. But what I saw, I do have some First Solar on for like a run up into earnings. This, like just like SolarEdge had a lot of short interest in the stock, and again, you can go see that short interest on FinViz, or on your own broker should have it as well. But that caused a bit of a squeeze where essentially what happens is people who have been shorting the name all the way down from wherever it was, 300s down to now, they're covering their position. So to cover, you have to buy the stock back, which pushes it up. And so if people are nervous that the bottom is in the stock and the stock company's trying to turn things around, they'll start to cover and create some panic on the short side, and that's what causes the squeeze up. So today looked at First Solar. It yesterday got above the 8-day just barely, that yellow line, and then today it initially tried to pop up above the 20-day, and then even got to the 50-day. Oh, sorry, this is the bottom of the sweet spot. Tried to get into that range and then fell down. So what I'd like to see is these moving averages start to kind of like flatten out or start curl up. You can see they're headed straight down just because of all the momentum pushing the stock down over the last few months. And then maybe the solar sector can get better. So the names I'd like to play in that sector are first FSLR, which reports earnings in a few weeks, I believe. And then NVDA is kind of number 2. This reported earnings maybe last week, and chart looks decent. It's basing for a while, back above the 20-day, and let's see if we can get above this. What is that? The 50 SMA, and kind of push up towards this next level of 100 SMA, which is 76. That'd be a great start. Obviously, the goal is to get back above the 200-day. That's gonna take a while. Maybe the next earnings report or something like that. But yeah. Let's see if First Solar can kind of help push the sector up even higher. One last name to look at in that sector is JKS. I have some options on this, I believe, for April or March, making sure I'm encompassing earnings again. But this is a stock that's been kind of basing for a while now. So, all the way since March of 2024, even longer than that, really. But the chart's looking a bit better. We go here. You have, you're above the 8-day, you're above the 20-day, you're back above the 200-day. You're hitting its head right there, the confluence of the 50-day and 100-day. Again, if we break above that, you can see this little, cup action here. Maybe we pull back here and then go. Maybe pull back to this 22, 25 level, and then push up. But so far it looks encouraging. The one thing, kind of switching gears to China, another China name, Baba, they report earnings tomorrow morning, and that's been a crazy ride, as you can see here. So, we have had 3 red candles in a row. It's still hanging out up here, still has crazy momentum. As you can see right here, this RSI I've talked about a little bit, we definitely look extended. So once it gets, above, 70-ish, you're in an overbought territory where we hit like 80, 85. That doesn't mean it can't go higher. But, tomorrow could be a bit of a washout if earnings are disappointing, or, earnings really have to impress because the bar is set pretty high. But again, if it pulls back even to here, the 118 level, or even the 20-day 104, wouldn't be surprised, and it would kind of be healthy to kind of reset some of these indicators back to normal. So as you can see, they're kind of cyclical, right? This was the initial pop that China had back in September, October timeframe, kind of ran up just like it does here, not even as high. We got, 80, 82, 83 RSI, and then pulled back for, a couple months, and then based, and now we're making our second attempt, and we're above those highs, which is encouraging. But again, it could pull back here, and continue up higher. I'm still pretty bullish on this unless, against U.S.-China tensions or anything else happens like that, which would, geopolitical stuff is hard to predict. But right now I'm just following what the market's telling me. So, if geopolitical things were a concern, the stock would tell me that as well. So I wouldn't need to even look at the news. All right. So BABA is tomorrow. Let's hope that it maybe delivers and gives China stocks another big boost to kind of keep squeezing, because they've been dogs for a while just because it's up a lot. It's been down a lot for a long time too, so that doesn't mean that it can't keep going up. Let's look at another fun name, Celsius. I'm not sure if you guys drink these or have drank these. I believe there was like some story a while back where there was like links of like cyanide or something like that in the drinks, and I think that was around like May, where it got like not some short report came out on it and got knocked down big time. So you can see right here, it had a bit of a double top, tried to break through here, didn't get through, went up again, double top right here. You can see that, and then it has just been 90, almost 100 to just never ending downside here, almost down to the 20 level. So never just buy stocks because it's dropped a lot. It can always drop further. Like knowing me, I probably bought some here at the 200 day. I'm like, it's got to bounce there, but it's really not worth it unless you see a true turnaround. Like let it base out a little bit. Like I guess I was maybe trying to time it perfectly and have it bounce here and then go up. It's really not worth it unless it's a strong name like like a Microsoft or something like that. With something like this, you just don't know. The big impetus here could be like a M&A play, like if they get acquired by Pepsi or one of their partners like that. But you could just wait until it. Here you can see a little bit that it tried to. Let me kind of zoom in there a little bit. You can see it tried to get it back above the 8 and 20 day there and failed. So you can see this entire time the 8 has been below the 20 day as well, so it never flipped up above it. So here we flipped back above it. I was like, okay, seems pretty good. Again, failed again, back below it. So it got me tripped up a few times. Now it's making another push. Maybe it's gonna curl up here, and this yellow line is going to pass a blue line. The 8's going to cross the 20. We'll see. There's a bunch of moving averages right here. There's the 50 SMA around 26. There's 100 SMA around 28. And they announced today that they're having an earnings announcement tomorrow after the market close. They just came out today, and they're doing a presentation by the CEO and CFO at a conference on Friday. So that smells a little fishy to me. Again, I have some Celsius totally as a lotto play, some expiring this week even. Some expiring, I think, next month or something like that. Took some profits today because it was up, a good chunk. What was that, like 14% today? But, a lot of this stuff when the CEO puts something randomly out there, like an event, I'm always worried about sell the news. So if there's more of a run up into earnings close tomorrow, I may take some more off, but I'll probably keep some lottos on in case there's some crazy news, but I'm expecting to sell the news. Speaking of sell the news, we have Grab. So I talked about this a lot, last week or maybe in an update even before that, because I saw some interesting options activity, like thousands upon thousands of calls for, basically every month in the future. And I got in and didn't hear many people talking about it. Saw some short interest in it as well. I was like, okay, maybe this is like an under the radar squeeze play. Now, over the weekend, this past weekend, I saw a lot of people talking about it on Twitter, and that always gets me nervous when there's too many people in a trade, it rarely works out. And what happened? It popped initially yesterday, then dropped, kind of created this what's called a doji, like indecision point. Tried to pop up again, kind of failed and closed near the highs, but then earnings happened after hours, and boom. Earnings report seems decent. I think they missed on one of the metrics, but for a name that's this beaten down, I think they showed some things that indicate that maybe they're turning things around, kind of like Uber a few years ago. And again, nowhere near that size, but I still think this name could be in play. But right now, this concerns me a little bit. This is called an H cell. So you see a boom right there. That's like the tall part of the H, and it's curving down here. This could continue down lower. But zooming out, even if it gets to like 454 level, as long as it holds above there, I'd feel okay about it. But I'd like to see buyers step in and, don't want this to be a flash in the pan pop and a lot of, fake options activity that doesn't go anywhere. I'd like to see a trend change, like have buyers actually step in on a dip and see some momentum again. So I'll be watching that. Let me just go over a couple more charts. All right, Microsoft. So on earnings, this dropped big time. This was 445. Looked like it was ready. I remember seeing back in December timeframe or earlier even a lot of March call activity. It's like March 450C calls. So that made me kind of bullish and thinking that okay, maybe on this earnings report it'll finally break out. But as you can see, it just gap down, has been just kind of trying to find its footing and kept dropping. This is chopped around here. I try not to buy within 3 days of earnings just because it's really tricky time to buy a stock. Then you can see we kind of chopped around here, went flat, and then we broke down a little bit. But now we've seen buyers kind of stepping in, and I'm seeing the RSI start to curl up a bit, which is encouraging. So today we reclaimed the 8-day moving average. Again, I want to see the 8-day get above the 20-day before I feel like we're in the clear. So we could potentially push up here to 420 and then break back down. But I feel like this will as long as the market complies, this should hopefully get back moving to the upside. So I believe I trimmed some today on that push, but I'm still holding for ideally 420 on that. Any other charts I should go for? Let me go over a couple more. Reddit. So I bought some Reddit today. Reddit hit this 50 SMA level. Hit it yesterday. Let's see, the low of that day was 183.80. Today got to 183.96. And held both times. So that's encouraging again. Again, totally possible it could break down here to the 100 SMA. But it's been a strong name. The reports seem pretty solid to me. I feel like it can at least make a push up here to the 820 confluence area, which is around 202, 200, let's say. So I'm just playing for a $10 move. If we get $10, that'd be freaking amazing. If it keeps going up to the top of the sweet spot, super bullish for the stock. These newer names, like Reddit's been around for, let's look at the monthly chart. Yeah, I mean, wow, what a move. This has been around not even a year yet. So, they kind of sometimes get overpriced or mispriced, and Reddit's obviously done amazing since their IPO. So totally possible it can pull back here to the this level 140s like I showed on the daily chart. But I think another bad report might have to come out for that to happen. So I started some today. Let's see what happens for a push up to 200. MSTR, gosh, what a frustrating name. Had this huge run, popped all the way, 500 plus. That's like an epic squeeze right there, and then boom, crashed down that same day. Went sideways for a bit. This bear flag right here, sideways after a big run up and a big drop, and then we broke down again, and now we're going sideways, and we've been consolidating, and it looks okay. You're seeing the 100-day kind of catch up to the chart here. I was really hoping to see MSTR kind of reclaim the 8 and 20 day today. I had a fake breakout here on Friday. I thought maybe we reclaimed the 8 day at least, hit its head on the 20 day, and then still close above the 8 day. I was like, maybe Bitcoin will run over the weekend and push it up, but nope, crypto's just been terrible for the most part. So it's possible I could potentially see drop to 310 tomorrow, and then we start running up again. If you look at Bitcoin, BTCUSD, Bitcoin, and I know these charts sometimes can look like a total mess, but like once you train yourself on your chart and all the different colors and all that, like you'll start seeing it. Like, oh, you immediately know what to look for. And I can, if you're interested, do videos on how to do that, how to set up your own charts. But yeah, so looking at Bitcoin real quick, it is trying to get back above the 8 day. It's crazy how well Bitcoin also works with technicals. So this is what kind of got me bullish. I'm like, okay, it's trying to look better. It's trying to get healthier. It's higher lows. This was a low right here. We haven't got below that yet. So the trend is good, and the RSI is also starting to curl up a little bit. So let's see if Bitcoin does better, then MSTR should hopefully do a bit better. I think they had some sort of offering MSTR the other day, and it kind of ignored it. So that's always good. So yeah, I started some MST. Was it MSTX or MSTU? Yeah, MSTX, I believe I started today. So this is a 2x leverage ETF. So this is totally just for short-term trades. I just expecting a potential trend change, and these options are a lot easier to trade than MSTR options, which are super expensive. So tried it that way. Let's see what happens. One other crypto chart that caught my eye is Litecoin. This has handled this downturn in crypto so well. It's forming a cup right here, as you can kind of see. Forming here. Potentially we could break out and it gets above this level and maybe pushes to like the 160, 170 level. That'd be amazing, but I could see it, maybe back test the 8 day here on 127 again and then push up. But it's a little scary how well these crypto names also comply with technical analysis. So everything's algorithmic now, so that's good in some ways, but also makes me feel like we don't have much control over things sometimes. Lastly, I'll go over TOST. TOST, man, I was really hoping that this would finally break out. It's had a great run the past year or so. It was in like the 20s, and then it popped up huge on this earnings report back in November timeframe. And we've just kind of been going sideways since then. I was hoping like another great report, it could push up higher, break out of this range above this 43 level. Still possible. After hours, it's down to like, 39. So it's not down too much, pretty much flat, I'd call it. So let's see how it responds tomorrow. I think that's it for today. Again, Mag 7 names, I'd like to see them start acting better, and then I'll feel better about the market as a whole. But maybe that starts next week. Like NVDA, I sold some more the last couple days, and I bought some back today as it started, back testing this 100-day, 50-day, 8-day confluence right there, like 135-ish, 137-ish. Bought a little back. I still think if it's, the market's good, and maybe these Mag 7 names play a little catch up, 150 level into earnings seems very possible. And then, NVIDIA's earnings report could change the whole complexion of the market. Just not to make it sound too important, but it definitely is. It definitely could send us flying higher, or make us, have a pretty sizable pullback if the report is disappointing. I'm leaning bullish on this one, but I've been wrong quite a few times. Any other Mag 7 names that really jumped out. Lastly, I'll do Tesla. Sorry, I keep saying last, but just so many interesting charts to look at right now. Tesla finally, starting to look a little bit better. Everyone's like calling for, hey, this is going to, sub 300 on this day. I remember I got lucky and added some that day. Again, I was definitely nervous that I could keep going down, but I didn't add too much size, and I did more short-term calls, which are cheaper. So that's kind of like, I'm willing for it to go down 50%, or sometimes depending on the stock, I'm fine with it going to zero if that's the case. But so it kind of popped up here, chopped around a little bit, trying to get above the 8-day, and I'd really like to see it have like a strong like $20 day, straight trend day from open to close, and like close strong. That to me is like what when Tesla has its mojo, that's what it does. So look out for that. I definitely want to be part of that if that's going to happen, but I'm not trying to like chase it by being in too much size just yet. I'm hoping that if it does do that $20 move, I can get the last 15 of it, or the middle 10. That'd be great. But I think this can start moving better, and hopefully the market complies. Cool, guys. Any questions for me, just feel free to message me. I'm happy to add more things, or send you a private video, whatever you need. Thanks for the time.